He says he loves you, but somehow still feels emotionally far away. Every time you get closer, he suddenly pulls back again. And now you're stuck wondering, does he care? Or is he scared of love? Here's what most people don't realize. Some men want connection deeply, but panic the moment it feels real. That's called avoidant attachment. And if you miss the signs, you'll keep blaming yourself for his distance. So pay attention to this. One of the biggest signs is emotional inconsistency. One day he's warm and affectionate. The next day, he feels cold for no reason. And it leaves you confused. Because nothing actually happened. But inside his mind, closeness feels overwhelming. So he creates distance to feel safe again. Maybe he disappears after a deep conversation, or suddenly acts busy after intimacy. This is where it gets interesting. Avoidant men often fear dependence, not because they hate you, but because vulnerability makes them uncomfortable. And that leads to another sign. He avoids difficult emotional conversations. The moment feelings get serious, he changes the subject, or he jokes to avoid emotional tension. Sometimes he completely shuts down. You try to explain your feelings, but he responds with one-word answers. I'm fine. Nothing's wrong. Even when something clearly is wrong. But here's the truth. Many avoidant people learned early in life that emotions were unsafe or ignored. So now, they protect themselves by disconnecting. And over time, you start feeling emotionally alone. Another major sign, he values independence almost too much. He constantly says things like, I just need space. I don't want anyone controlling me. Or, I'm better on my own. Independence itself is healthy, but with avoidant attachment, extreme independence becomes emotional armor. He may avoid relying on anyone, even when he's struggling inside. And if you offer too much support, he may pull away even harder. Pay attention to this. Avoidant men often crave love privately, but resist it publicly. That's why their actions feel so mixed. Another sign? He becomes distant after emotional closeness. This one confuses people the most. You finally have a deep moment together. Maybe he opens up emotionally. Maybe you feel truly connected. And right after that, he suddenly disappears emotionally. Less texting, less affection, less effort, and you start panicking. But for avoidant people, intimacy can trigger fear instead of comfort. Deep connection makes them feel exposed, so they retreat to regain control. This is where many relationships break down, because one person wants more closeness, while the other fears losing freedom. And here's another sign you shouldn't ignore. He sends mixed signals constantly. One week he acts deeply invested. The next week, he feels emotionally unavailable. He may talk about a future with you, then suddenly act unsure about commitment. And it keeps you emotionally addicted. Because inconsistency creates anxiety. You keep chasing the good version of him, hoping things will go back to normal. But here's the deeper issue. Avoidant attachment creates emotional push and pull. They want love, but fear what comes with it. And that fear controls their behavior. Another hidden sign? He struggles to express emotional needs. Instead of saying he feels overwhelmed, he silently withdraws. Instead of asking for reassurance, he pretends he doesn't care. And over time, this emotional silence damages the relationship. Because you can't fix problems you're never allowed to see. This is where it gets painful. You start overthinking everything. Every delayed text feels personal. Every moment of distance feels like rejection. And slowly, you lose emotional security too. Final sign? He fears commitment when things become serious. At first, everything may feel exciting and intense. But once real emotional responsibility appears, fear starts taking over. He may delay labels, avoid future planning, or suddenly question the relationship. Not because you're not enough, but because closeness activates old fears inside him. And unless he becomes self-aware, the cycle usually repeats. But here's something important you need to hear. His avoidant attachment is not your fault. And it's not your job to save him either. Healthy love needs emotional safety from both people. Not confusion, not emotional guessing games. So, if this video felt painfully familiar, you're not imagining the distance. Your emotions are trying to warn you. And sometimes, understanding the pattern changes everything. If this helped you see things more clearly, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below.